Hi, so it's July. How is it halfway through the year already? This has got to be the fastest year I've ever seen. Anyway, how are you feeling about the heat? I love the sun. I love the fact that it's sunny every day and people are feeling positive and everybody's smiling. Nobody's sort of negative at the moment, and I think that helps my mood a lot. I sort of feed off other people sometimes. I think we all do. But when you wake up, when you're on the bus, when you're going to work, people just seem in a happier mood, and I love that. But anyway, the heat is not something I'm going to talk about today because everybody is talking about heat. We need to talk about exercise, because what I've learned over the years is that exercise is something completely different and has the most benefits and other assets that we don't get to see. We live in a world where exercise is all about losses. You go because you need to lose weight, or you need to lose sweat, or you need to show everybody how much you can do. But it's not about that. Until some industry came in, probably like around the 70s, 80s, and went, we can make a lot of money out of this because people want to do this, because we can sell it as some kind of diet industry thing. Exercise was something completely different. I only realised probably 2 or 3 years ago that exercise is beneficial for me and it makes me feel good, and not because I'm losing anything, I'm gaining from it. I'm gaining a lot. Mentally, I am in probably the best place I've ever been, and I put that down to like activities and doing different things. It's not like I go out and do a massive sweat session every day. Sometimes it can just be a yoga session or a walk. It doesn't have to be anything. But it's probably one of the most important things I've learned. So for years, I obviously had a restricting eating disorder, and I wanted to do exercise, but I wanted to do it for the wrong reasons. I didn't get up in the morning going, this is going to really boost my mind. I would get up in the morning because there's a voice in my head telling me I have got to go and do something, because otherwise I won't put on weight and all of this. And it was just the wrong attitude towards exercise. So after recovering, I avoided it for years. I didn't do anything. I might go on a walk or something, but I was very sort of like anti-exercise. And not because I thought it was bad for you, not because I had any kind of aversion to it, but because I was terrified that I would get addicted to it like I had done before, like my eating disorder would come back, and I just couldn't go back to that place. It was awful. So I didn't do anything. My partner, he was running, he was doing all sorts of things, and I'd be like, no, don't know how you do it. I mean, I'd rather sit and watch EastEnders. And I think part of me, deep down, just didn't want to admit, yes, I would like to go and do something. I would like to be able to go out, but I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust my mind. And because I was so scared, because I believed that exercise was all about this diet industry thing, and everybody goes to lose weight and it all becomes very competitive, I was just terrified, and so I avoided it. I didn't want to set foot in a gym. I didn't want to do anything. And when I did, sometimes I think I sort of dabbled in it, and I'd go for a few weeks or a couple of months, and then I'd get scared again because I'd think, oh, I don't know if I'm getting into a bad behaviour. So what we need to do is change the way we look at exercise, because really everybody who has an eating disorder, who is struggling, can do some kind of exercise, and it can help you mentally, it can help your strength, it can help everything. And I think you probably have a better outlook on life if you know how much your body can do for you. So instead of it all being about losses, it is about gains. What can you gain from exercise? So it can boost your mind, it can show you how strong your body is, what it can do for you, how amazing it is. It can get you into groups to meet other people. It's amazing. I mean, it's just one of those things you can do that can sort of help you control your mind and keep stress at bay or anything like that, but without having to put too much effort in. And you can find something to tailor it to you. So if you do have a restricting eating disorder, you shouldn't be going out and burning extra stuff. And I know I've just said it's about losses. It's not about losses, it's about gains. And it is about gains. I'm talking about the gains of exercise. But what about something like yoga or Pilates, or something that's a bit more mind-based and that can take you out of it. So I go to yoga once a week, and it's 1 hour that is just for me to do things, to show me how strong my body is, to take my mind out of the outside world. I don't think about anything. I don't think about what's going on in my head, about what's going on at work, what's going on at home, anything. It's just an hour for me. And it's not a massive cardio session. It's something good for you. So wherever you are, if you've got sort of a binge eating disorder, or you're overeat, or you've got an eating disorder that can't be defined, there are things that you can do that can help you in your mind and will make you that little bit stronger against that voice in your head, which is the absolute devil. It's a way of beating. Like, imagine it as a sort of medicine. You don't have to do it that often. I mean, I definitely wouldn't do it every day. Everybody needs rest days. Like, I go to yoga once a week. I might do a little bit on my bike. I love my bike. It's my time. But obviously I am at a stage further on where I can do things like that and I'm not doing any damage to my body. So while I'm saying about exercise can be amazing, if you're listening to this and thinking, yes, I want to do something, are you doing it for the right reasons? Are you doing it because you will enjoy it and because you think it will help you mentally and it can boost your mind and it can all be part of that thing? So like, if you're on antidepressants or something, it can add to that, it can help you, and it can stop you reaching for other things like alcohol, drugs, anything like that you can become addicted on, that can help you boost your mind and make you feel that little bit better, because struggling with an eating disorder is horrible. It's debilitating, it's miserable, and sometimes you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel, but sometimes I think what I found was that exercise let me do that. I could see that, but you have to be doing it for the right reason. You can't be doing it just because you think you will lose from it, because you won't from everything. And that's not the point of it. That's not what I'm trying to say. So if you do want to get involved in exercise, it's really important that you talk to somebody and you make a plan and you stick to it. So you're not getting addicted, you're not going every day, you're not doing it all the time, and you're not monitoring what you're doing and how much you're losing or what you're doing. It's for you, it's time for you. And I think you also need to have somebody else that knows what you're doing, because it's very easy to think that you're strong enough not to get addicted, but then also find that you're getting into these habits and it is getting more and more and more. So what I would suggest is talk to your GP, talk to any therapists that you've got, any other doctors that you see, any support teams. If you go to a support group, maybe it's something good that you could talk to them about. What can we do? How can we start off gently? What triggers do we need to look for? Can you tell if you're getting too into it, if you're not? Are you doing too much? Maybe if you're at home with a partner or your parents or friends, maybe tell them what you're doing and say, you know, if you notice any of these things in me, you need to tell me and you need to stop me. Because it's scary starting out. Some people might be like me going, oh no, I don't think I even want to think about it. The first thing I did was swimming, and I was like, oh, I'm a bit scared, because once I went, I was like, oh, I feel so good afterwards. What if I do get addicted? But I didn't, because I had that support network around me, and I knew that people would tell me, and I knew that I was in a place where I could probably handle this. So I went 2 or 3 times a week maximum. That's it. That's all I did. And I just noticed that inner strength from me as I saw my body getting stronger and gaining more muscles, and mentally I was stronger. And that's probably what it's all about for me. I notice now if I haven't done anything for a few weeks, because my mind feels sluggish and my mood drops. So that's what it's all about for me. But it's just so important that you monitor it and you have a plan and you stick to it. So what helps for me is, again, this book that I've used loads, because it's like my journal, it's like my plan of everything. So I will write out a week's plan and I'll go, I'm doing this, this and this, and on these days, and on the other days, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to a class, I'm not going on my bike, I'm not going swimming, I'm not doing yoga, nothing, because they're the rules. And even though I know that I am strong enough now, the terrifying thoughts of going back to where I was sort of like 10 years ago is enough to make me do that and make me stick to that. So I think deep down we all know when we're ready to start and whether it's a good thing for us. But please discuss it with other people, because I know that exercise can be triggering. But what I'm telling you now is about how I've managed to sort of turn my mind around and essentially see the better in my life. I am not obsessed with everything. I am calmer. My skin's better. I've met friends through it. I've got a great crew of people that I work with who we go to the gym together and we do stuff outside of work together. And it's not all about the gym, but that's probably how I've met them and how I've learned a lot about them. I've got friends who feel the same as me, where we're not going to the gym for a loss. We're not going because everybody else is doing it and there's all these DVDs out and everybody's saying we should be going and this is what we want to do. We're doing it, and one of my very close friends feels exactly the same as me. We're doing it because it helps our mind and we are stronger. We are so much stronger. It just feels really good. And if I could tell you, if I could write you all a prescription for exercise that's right for you, I'd write it. I'd write it straight away. But please remember that it has to be right for you. If you are still struggling to maintain weight, then obviously little things like maybe a little bit of yoga or something like that might help. Maybe in a group session or Pilates and something like that. If you do overeat, then yes, maybe you might want to do a little bit more cardio and stuff and balance it out. I don't know what's right for you. You have to write a prescription for yourself and you have to get someone else to help you. But personally, I think it's probably the best thing I've ever done. And I'm hoping it will be for you once you find the right thing.